what's up? It's Dee or Dewasi. So I've had some questions lately about my experience with nursing and how I got into it, what kinds of factors went into play while making the decision. It's no walk in the park. It's a very difficult decision to make when you have so much going on in life because we are human, we are complex. Let's start from the beginning. I have a degree already. I have my bachelor's of science in psychology. I actually started off as a bio major, and last two semester before graduating, I swapped over to a psych degree because all of my classes would have counted for a bachelor's of science in psychology. But I didn't want to have to extend my college career taking calculus and physics to finish up the bio degree. After that, I worked for higher education for a while. I wasn't quite happy. I still wanted to be in healthcare and in the sciences. So I left that. I took a huge pay cut, became a caregiver, and from there, I had a lot of healthcare experience, and I was also a QMAP where I was administering medication. My life started changing from there. I started realizing I wanted to do more. I want to do more with my life. I want to be more involved in healthcare. So I decided I'm going to start looking into nursing. And I started researching different schools, requirements, what was needed, what did I already have fulfilled. Did I need to retake any classes? And there were some prereqs that I did have to go back and do, such as anatomy and physiology. The first time I took it, I felt like I wasn't mature enough for the content, and I just didn't score as well in the classes. So when I finally realized that I was serious about going to nursing school, I did what it took in order to meet the requirements to get in. So I retook my anatomy and physiology. I aced both classes, and then I did not need to retake bio because I had already taken it and I had a decent grade in there, a B, not an A, but good enough. And then math, I had already fulfilled. Pathophysiology, I had to take that class since that was something new. What else? I don't think I had to do all too many. But anyway, so I went back, I got my CNA, I started working as a CNA. That was also a area that you could gain more points on your nursing application, so I did that. And then I also volunteered at a hospital in order to get those hours in, and I worked in healthcare. So all of those things all combined added points to my application for nursing school. So when I applied to nursing school, I had to meet the requirements of classes. I had to get certain grades in those classes, then I got additional points on my application. I had to take the HESI exam and score above a certain score in order to get points for nursing school. I had to write an essay that would be used as a tiebreaker if my score lined up with another student and they couldn't decide who they wanted to admit. So they would read your essay and that'd be the tiebreaker. My classes, I had to meet all the requirements. And then what else? Your healthcare experience, your work, being a CNA, you got additional points. So all of that. So just research the schools that you guys want to go to. Make a checklist. Make a checklist for yourself. What does this school require? What do I meet? What do I still need to do? That would be the most efficient way to go about it. And then you can also make a list. Why do you want to go to nursing school? Why do you want to become a nurse? Every nurse has a different reason. I have a multitude of reasons. I feel like that would make this video a little too long, so I'm not going to go into that. Anyway, so then doing all that, I finally applied. I was kind of in a time period of my life where I was like, okay, it's okay if I don't get in. I can apply to another school. If I don't get in at all, I'm going to have to find a different career to do in the meantime. Because my goal was to get into nursing and become a nurse. But I waited and waited, didn't hear any call back. And then when I finally did hear a call back, I almost didn't pick up the phone call actually. I'm just one of those people, if like a phone number calls me, it's not saved in my phone. My carrier is not telling me who's calling me. It's an out of state number or it's just like some other city. I tend to not pick up the phone. I let them leave a voicemail if it's serious or if it's important enough. But during that time, my boyfriend was like, "You should just pick it up. It might be important." I picked up the call and it was the school. And they basically said, "We have decided we want you to join our program. Are you still interested?" And my entire world changed from that day. I had so much excitement in my head. It was a lot. But anyway, so I prepared, I got ready, I got into the program, I accepted it, I started the program, I was still working, and then as the classes became more rigorous, I dropped down to part time, and then eventually I went PRN. Set yourself up for success, is my advice. Don't overwork yourself while in school. You want to make the grades, you want to be proud of your grades, and you also don't want to be broke, but you might be broke. Um, Anyways, so set yourself up for success because you're paying a lot of money to be there in those classes and you're there to learn. You are there to learn, you are there to pass your exams. You got to do what it takes. Okay, and that was the hardest part about being in nursing school is that we had an exam every single Monday of the week. I had to sacrifice time away from family, time away from my boyfriend, time away from my pet, time away just from the things I love doing in general, shopping. I didn't have money. I was a broke college student. I was paying a lot for tuition, textbooks, and then you have school loans on top of that. It was a lot, but you'll be okay. At the end, everything will work out. You'll be okay. Just keep your head above water, keep breathing, study with friends, make friends in your classes. Don't study alone unless that's just the way you are and you do better in those kinds of environment and conditions. But I was someone who I realized I had to try multitude of study methods for different classes. It didn't work the same for every single class. Going through nursing school, I had many days where I was just exhausted, but I knew I had to stay up and study. I had homework assignments I needed to get done, papers I needed to write, research I needed to do, reading material that I didn't understand, watching online lectures, listening to online lectures, and just you have moments where you're just exhausted mentally. To be in class already for 8+ hours sometimes or less, you're using a lot of critical thinking, you're using a lot of brain power. You're not constantly sitting in class munching and eating food either. So you gotta refuel your body, but you'll come home just feeling drained and exhausted and you want to give up sometimes, but don't. I promise you there is light at the end of the tunnel. If you just put in that hard work, don't give up and continue going. I had many days where I wanted to give up, but I had good friends in my courses and we all just kind of pep talk each other and kept each other above water. Yeah, so with that in mind, your family and friends are good support systems. They may not always understand what you're going through. Trust me, they won't many of the days. You will have many days where you are just fed up with people and you don't want people around you, but you gotta find a little bit of balance between school life, family, and just you time. So self-care is very important. You may be someone who can easily still go to the gym, eat healthy, go to school, go to your clinicals, all of those things and still balance family life. Kudos to you. Me, on the other hand, I was not very strict on going to the gym because I would get too exhausted, honestly, I just would. And I wouldn't even want to get dressed and drive to the gym. Eating habits were like shit. You eat when you're stressed. Well, I did. And I gained a lot of weight while in nursing school. It's a struggle, but don't give up, okay? So, anyways, moving forward, all that happened. There were times when I would just be like, I might not pass this class because the material is just too much. I'm exhausted. I don't want to study anymore. And then something in me would be like, nope, you pay way too much money to be here. You deserve to be here. And you're going to question yourself a lot. You're going to question your competency, your smartness. And let me tell you, it doesn't even end there. When you go and take your boards and you become a nurse, you will still have so many days you question yourself, like, what the hell am I doing? Why the hell did I become a nurse? What do I even know? I don't know anything. You know, you'll still have all that. It doesn't end there. Sorry to say. And you will have good days where, like, oh my gosh, something stuck from nursing school. I know a lot about this and that. So don't give up. Stay positive. Don't lose hope. So you want to graduate, finish that. You go through this long headache process in order to set up your NCLEX with Pearson VUE. It's such a long process. You go back for your background check, you do fingerprint testing, you fill out a board of nursing application for your state. It's a long, long process. Be patient, you'll get there. So then when it came time to taking my boards, you guys, I knew what kind of person I was. I knew my own stress level, and I knew what pressures I could and could not handle. And a pressure I cannot handle is just people asking me, when is your test? Have you taken it? Are you studying for it? How are you studying for it? Oh, you've taken your test. Did you pass? So just questions like that. I knew naturally that I'm a person who likes to dodge those kinds of things because it stresses me out. So what I did was I registered for my exam. I knew where it was going to be. I looked up a hotel near my exam just in case it was going to snow, because it was kind of snowing during the month that I went to go take my exam. I got a hotel room for just one night, and I did not tell anyone when my exam was. I would just keep telling them, it's coming, it's coming. You'll find out when I pass. So I got my hotel room. I stayed there. I got food. I prepped myself. I did some self-care. I studied only until like maybe 5 p.m. that day. I took a bath. I ate food. I ate dessert. It was just nice to have like me time. I had 2 beds in my hotel. I had 2 queen size beds, one for all my stuff. And then the second bed was for me to sleep in and just become comfortable and just have me time and reflect and be positive and just tell myself, you've worked so hard, be here. You deserve this moment. You're gonna pass this exam and you're going to be a nurse. And you will realize that all of it was worth it. So then after all that, I prepped all my stuff. I left my hotel room. I didn't need to check out until 2 o'clock. I had 6 hours to take my exam. After all that, anyways, I went and took my exam. I was nauseated, but I just did some breathing, went, sat down. I had earphones that would mute out noise, and then I had earphones that if I needed to listen to something on the computer, I could also do that. So I had 2 sets. You sit kind of in a little cubicle. You have a proctor who sits outside. There's a huge window. They can see you. They have cameras in the room. You have students sitting all along the border of the room, and you're all in your own little cubicle. Many of the students that are there are either taking the same exam or some other exam. It's not all the same. People will be getting up and coming at different times. But for me personally, I didn't notice when people would come in and leave because I had the soundproof headpiece on. So I didn't pay attention. If I needed to stretch, I would stretch. I just took my time. On the first 75 questions, though, let me tell you guys this. I took all the time I needed on the first 75 questions. I was not going to let anything get in my way of this exam. I knew that the exam would either shut off at 75 or it would continue going if I was not scoring very proficiently. So I was taking my exam, and then when I got to my 74th question, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the moment. Just breathe for the 75th question and wait for the computer to do something. Either give me more questions or turn off and say I'm done. And even at that point, it's scary because it's like I failed or I passed at 75, or you keep going. So then I get to my 75th question. I'm like breathing, just kind of like rereading the question more than 3 times, re-looking at my answers, re-looking at the question. I closed my eyes, I put my hand on the mouse, and I clicked. And when I opened my eyes, it said that my exam was done. I had a moment of relief, but I also had some fear, and I said to myself, God, like, if this is truly my path, I have all the knowledge and all the foundation that I need. Yeah, not all of it applies to the questions on the exam, because I will tell you guys will get some random stuff on there that you have never, ever, ever, ever heard of, and probably will never, ever hear of again. So I filled out a little survey after my exam, and then I gathered all my stuff. I raised my hand that I was done. The proctor came, collected all my stuff, computer was off, and then I returned everything to her. Went out, took my key to open up my locker, got my stuff, went to the front desk. She sort of just observed the bag. Was it touched and tampered? Was it opened? And then after that, they let you open it up. You get your cell phone. You leave. I at that moment was like just happy and glad to be done with the exam. I went back to my hotel room. I messaged my friend. She was taking her exam, or she had already taken her exam out of our state. And then she was like, are you going to try the whole credit card thing? And I was like, how do I check it? What should I do? And it's that whole trick where you go back into Pearson. You go in and you try to re-register for your exam. If it lets you, you most likely failed, but I've heard other stuff too that some people have passed and it let them re-register. So it doesn't always work, but whatever. I was like, I'm gonna try it. I was in my hotel room. I put in all my credit card information. The only date I changed was like the expiration date of the card. And then I completed the process, and it said that I had already registered for an exam under this name, and I felt really good. I felt positive, and I was like, oh my God, but what if I did this and I still failed? Don't get your hopes up. And it's a really terrible kind of anxiety to put on yourself, but it's what we do as nursing students, right? So anyways, after that, I kept refreshing the DORA website hours after that, and then the next day I didn't hear any news. I was really scared that I had failed. And then came the second day. I kept refreshing it that morning. I wrote my friend, I said, oh my, I haven't seen anything. I failed. I absolutely failed. I remember it was about 11 a.m. She had Snapchat me and told me that I passed. Well, I don't think she really said I passed yet. She said, go online, refresh it. Oh my gosh. And then I went on, and there I saw it. It said, DeWassy, lower, registered nurse, RN, active. I was so happy. I was excited. I screamed. And then all this kind of stuff happened. I told my siblings about it, my boyfriend, and then after all the happiness, that's when all the real emotions really rushed to me, and I just started flooding with tears and crying out of happiness and just like, holy shit, I can't believe I did it. All that hard work, all those late nights studying, all the early mornings getting up and going to clinical, all the days I wasn't eating, all the days I was poor, all the days I cried. It felt so good. It felt so good, and I was so happy. I was so thankful. I was so proud of my achievement. And you guys, do not give up. Where you put in hard work and effort will come a reward, will come in like an achievement that you can't even imagine until it happens. You have all worked really hard, and if you are still going to apply to nursing school, there is light at the end of the tunnel. There really is, and only you can do this, and only you can believe in yourself. Others will believe in you, but it has to come from you and from within, and you have to find something in yourself that says, this is important to me, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to complete it, and I'm going to achieve it, and at the end, I am going to smile with some proudness. And that is literally how my story went. And here I am today, a registered nurse, a new grad, and still learning. Anyways, this video is really long. I will continue a new video if you guys want to hear other stories. Other than that, have a beautiful day and stay blessed. Bye.